welcome to the Veterans Growing America podcast. I am here with illustrious host Donnell John. We have a special guest today. We have Rebecca Morgan, who is the owner and founder of Nisha Media Leadership Solutions. Welcome to the show, young lady.
Thank you for having me.
I was about to call you Nisha, but it's Rebecca. I don't know why, but the audience doesn't know you. I know you a little bit, but let's tell the audience, could you share with them a little bit about who you are, what connections you have to the military, and how this unique perspective has influenced your perspective as an entrepreneur?
Sure. So I actually am a veteran spouse, but I'm also a veteran daughter, a veteran granddaughter. My grandfather and his brother both served in World War II. And actually, my family has served in the military as far back as our family was, quite frankly, permitted to after they were emancipated from slavery.
Wow.
And so immediately following their freedom, they enlisted and when they were able to. And my grandfather served, his brother served together in World War II, believe it or not. And my father then served, actually, he was drafted, believe it or not, during Korea, and then stayed in and then became a Vietnam veteran and retired from Fort Belvoir as a command sergeant major. And so we actually ended up staying in the Northern Virginia area where I was a bit of a surprise to my family. And there I came along. And so he moved into a real estate career and was the first Black president of the Prince William Board of Realtors. And so we kind of built roots in Prince William County, Virginia. And then I met this guy walking on the street that, had this funky little haircut. And of course, he's a 20-year Marine veteran now himself. And of course, now we have a son who is a cadet at Morehouse, an Army cadet who currently has an Army ROTC scholarship. So from a Marine Corps spouse, an Army brat, if you would, and then hopefully an Army mom, I kind of span generational, an honor as being a generational supporter of all military in our family. And what an honor it is. So that is kind of what led me to making sure that the business I have, Nisha Media Leadership Solutions, is really focused on serving those who serve. Mm-hmm. And our business actually is a nonprofit. It's a company that supports nonprofit organizations. And so our focus is primarily nonprofits who are veteran supporting nonprofits and healthcare supporting nonprofits. So, and that's how I got into that.
Hey, I was not expecting that, and that was amazing. I can't wait to watch this again. I have a question. So my question is, what inspired you to start your business? And then what are the unique challenges and opportunities presented by?
Well, that's a good question. So to start with, what inspired me to start my business? Well, I have been in nonprofit work for years. Actually, before my husband and I got together, I worked in nonprofits. Even when we first met, I worked at the American Association of Engineering Societies as their communications associate. And I had completed my bachelor's, and then I went on when he and I got married and we moved to Lejeune. And I worked on my master's, again, focusing on nonprofit. And when we came back to the DC metropolitan area, as he would say, all roads lead to Quantico. Profit again. And I stayed in nonprofit management for decades, believe it or not. And so I've loved it here. I've loved working to make the world a better place. I found that I can really, quite frankly, build strategic goals and objectives for nonprofits and help them achieve their goals and objectives, and really use brain power and bring people together and frankly, move mountains in work that many people don't even think of as nonprofit work. Help the government understand things, all from a perspective that's not about making money, but really about making change. And I've loved it. I've loved every second of it. So when I had an opportunity for a for-profit company that was then staffing nonprofit organizations, it was kind of the best of two different worlds. And I learned a lot there. And I enjoyed that model. And I thought, wow, I could start a business that does something similar. And the service that we provided standalone nonprofits, if I may say so, I felt was really a cut above. And knowing I could take that service at organizations and use the model to help, frankly, save nonprofits money by bridging nonprofits together and helping look for discounts and other things by using this, whether we're talking to hotels and other organizations. I thought this would be a really good opportunity to start a business where I could use all of my strategic goals and talents, et cetera, and then help multiple nonprofits, not just one, to help, again, change the world and make it a better place. So it was kind of cool to be able to open this door for myself and for others. A little scary, don't get me wrong. I think any entrepreneur knows starting a business is slightly terrifying, going out on your own and walking away from a salary. It's a whole new quadrant. So, and then I apologize. You had a second part of that question. I want to make sure I heard it.
Yeah. So what was the unique challenges and opportunities with this based off of your military lifestyle?
I think there are a couple of things. So I think my husband is not always here. Even now, he's a reserve drilling Marine. My son's in college. Being a mom, I'm a mom. My other son and my other daughter. I mean, everybody is going a million miles a minute, and they come first. So I think any military spouse can tell you that has to be your top priority. Any spouse can tell you, any mom, any family member, your family comes first. You don't start a business because they're not your first priority. You start a business because they're your first priority and you want to help feed your family. So knowing that you have to now go out on your own and you have to make a way for your family on your own talents and gifts, that can be a challenge. And you have to trust in your own skill set. That's scary. That's scary. I don't know that there's a paycheck in the mailbox every 2 weeks or in my inbox every 2 weeks. And that can be a lot, right? So those are challenges that starting out, trusting in yourself, trusting in your own ability, trusting in your ability to network and to drive and show other people what you bring to the table can be really, was a struggle and is a struggle.
No, I agree. That's good.
You know, you talked about a little bit about lessons that you learned. And so with lessons come challenges, right? So what are some of the challenges that you faced in business and how did you overcome them?
Well, I think we're all still facing a lot of these challenges every day. I struggle a lot with isms. I struggle a lot with some of my competitors with a lot of the isms that they're dealing with. Nepotism, racism, sexism, those are still things plaguing us to this very day. Those actually propelled me to start the business, if I'm going to be very frank with you. I noticed that nonprofit management was not diverse at all. I was the only executive director at my level at my nonprofit management firm. And then I looked out at multiple nonprofit management firms and I saw I was the only one in several. And that was a concern for me. And I noticed that many nonprofits were looking for diverse leadership. They wanted people who could bring a new lens, a different lens, diverse conversations to the table. Now, I'm never going to be a physician, but I am going to be a nonprofit management leader. And frankly, in the DC metropolitan area, there are an abundance of great leaders right here. So I couldn't really wrap my head around why there weren't an abundance of nonprofit leaders that were diverse, unless maybe there weren't a lot of attempts to diversify the applicant pool. So I want to change that. I want to change that now. And so that's what I hope to do with Nisha. I hope to diversify nonprofit management so that more diverse people are sitting at the table with physicians and veterans leaders. And that now it's not about your family member maybe being at the table, but now you've got the best. Because I jokingly say, I can throw a rock and hit a brilliant, dedicated, educated, diverse person in the DC metropolitan area. I kid you not. Sometimes I turn around, there's somebody brilliant behind me tomorrow. But to think that they maybe have never even heard of association management, or they've never been given the opportunity, there are no job applications in their area. I can fix that. So why would I sit back and not try? So those are some challenges I'm working to fix with the company specifically.
No, that's good. And that kind of segues into, and a lot of the things that you said kind of segue into my next question. But what I want to know is, what are some lessons learned or pieces of advice that you have for military spouses getting into their businesses, and then someone getting into nonprofit work?
Well, getting into businesses are one thing. I would say first and foremost, do what you love. If you don't love what you're doing, you're going to hate it and everything about it relatively soon, and you're not going to have a passion for it. And you have to love it, because sometimes that is the only thing that will keep you going. Because there are a lot of no's. There are a lot of, I think Donnell will agree, there are a lot of roadblocks in the way for any entrepreneur. So if you don't do what you love, you can find yourself very quickly miserable. That can't happen. You got to love what you do and do what you love. And then you asked something else. Would you remind me what that is, please?
Say key lessons, and then word of advice. Word of advice.
Words of advice. So I think that's important. And then also, I would really be very careful about jumping in. If you can get really good advice from brilliant people, absolutely do that. I think places like Veterans Growing America, making sure that you are able to network with some fabulous veterans and veteran spouses, use your network. Don't jump out there until you ask some questions. There are a lot of places and a lot of people who are willing to help, giving free advice. And as far as nonprofits are concerned, I happen to give a lot of free advice, happy to help, especially veterans nonprofits, with a little pro bono advice. So feel free to call us to help you get started. Because frankly, a lot of people think they want to do a nonprofit, but sometimes a for-profit will be just even more advantageous. And so having a conversation with somebody that understands the nonprofit world can really help you kind of take a look at the whole spectrum, because it's not just one kind of nonprofit organization. There are multiple kinds of nonprofit organizations. And depending on what your goals and objectives are, you may have a ton of opportunities there.
I totally agree with you. I didn't realize the NFL was a nonprofit until I heard. That blew my mind. But here's a question that I have for you. So you spoke a little bit about, Veterans Growing America as a support system, but what type of support systems do you find most valuable for the military spouse community, especially when running a business? And then, how do they find those type of support systems, as they go from place to place?
I have to be honest with you. I love, well, I'm going to say this and people are going to hate this, but I actually have really enjoyed social media or networking on social media. So IVMF has been very, very helpful with coming up with some really good programs that have helped me really kind of navigate this new veteran spouse space. And they have free programs right there. IBMF specifically, I went to the VWise program. That was a free program, more or less. I think it's a very, very nominal fee. And they flew us down to Jacksonville, Florida at the time, and they have other places every year. They're in a new location. And they flew all these spouses and military veterans down to Jacksonville, Florida, women specifically, to enjoy learning about entrepreneurship. What does it take to break into different facets of entrepreneurship? It's a full 3-day program. Anything you want to know, just learn it, how to build a website, how to market your business, how to get into government contracting, all kinds of things, kind of like your gateway initiatives. I thought that was incredibly helpful. And then from there, once you're in the IBMF program, there's a ton of other programs that connect to it. They just recently connected with Bunker Labs and some other programs. Again, phenomenal search on social media. Start miss the information that'll flow to you.
Hey, so most people say leaders are readers. Can you recommend me a really good book?
Really good book. Oh. You're gonna hate this. Here's what I'm reading now. Fun book. This is what I'm reading. It's the Practice Professionals Association Management Guide for association management. So that's awful to admit. That's not the best one. I will give me 2 minutes. Let me pull up a couple of extras. There are some really good books specifically about fabulous leaders that I could give you that Rogers in particular. I think it's called Be Millionaires. I just finished that one. I thought it was fantastic.
I like it.
So that's my favorite.
I like it.
Yes. But she just came out with a new book that I went to actually just purchase. So check that one out too, but I haven't read it yet. Can't guarantee it, but I thought that was a good one. There's also a new one. It's actually not that new, by the first Black CEO of Silicon Valley. I can't think of the name of it. See, I'm at a loss for the name, but that was also really good. 2 very different styles of writing and 2 very different styles of leadership, but both phenomenal. The leadership space that, quite frankly, can really navigate you through entrepreneurship and of executive leadership.
Yep, I'm gonna dig both of them up right after this.
Okay, good.
No, I love that. I love that because
And I'm happy to circle back on what the exact title.
I definitely love that you are reading something that will make you the expert in your field. I mean, if you know the rules, to your left and your right, you can better guide those leaders that are sitting in those positions. So kudos to you for learning and growing. That's why we put growing in the name of Veterans Growing America. So let's talk about your future plans and goals for your business and how you envision your commitment to supporting your business growth.
My dream for my business is that we will support nonprofit organizations that are dedicated to diversifying their fields. So healthcare organizations that are really noticing that there are diversity issues in the field that they're in, and they want to make a change. We're here to help.
Nice.
Veterans organizations that have for years said, we want to grow exponentially, and we need somebody to take us there strategically. And we want a diverse team, a team that's dedicated and understands the mission, that supports veterans, spouses, and veterans, because frankly, that's what I plan to hire. Not all, but hopefully a lot of veteran spouses and veterans as we grow as an organization. We want to work with a staffing organization that can do just that looks for those employees, that gets the mission, and understands a sense of a mission. That's who we want to support. We want organizations to work with us, to partner with us, that frankly want to grow and that are willing to dig deep and to frankly are willing to change the way they look at their whole paradigm. Because frankly, I think for a long time, nonprofits have been stifled. They've been growing incrementally, and they've been doing some really good things. But I think with great staff leadership, partnering with their great board leadership, they can grow exponentially. I've seen it happen. I've been a part of it. And I'm excited to do that for multiple nonprofits. So I'm excited for Nisha to bring this to nonprofits around the world, not just in the US.
I love that. I love that. So tell the community your experience with Veterans Growing America.
Well, I was really lucky. I bothered you, Donnell. So, like I said, I'm born and raised in the county. So when I heard Veterans Growing America was around the corner, I bobbled on in there and introduced myself because frankly, Veterans Growing America had this fantastic presence already in the county. People were already buzzing. And when I was at VWise, someone mentioned to me, hey, did you hear about this pop-up shop? We need one of those in, and they were talking about Atlanta. And I was like, yeah, I've heard about this Command Sergeant Major. Yeah, yes, I've heard about him. I've got to meet this guy. So I just want you to know, sir, your world is out there. Like everybody's talking about the work you're doing. And so I was like, I got to get to know this guy and talk to them about the work they're doing. So I had a kind of an honor to work with you a little bit about, I talked to you a little bit about the mission, goals, and vision of Veterans Growing. And since then, we've been buddies, and I've been bothering you, looking for interns and other things that can help you, I hope.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I want to thank you for that. And I want to thank you for your support, with Veterans Growing America, and just let America know that Veterans Growing America is coming to a city near you. It may not be coming as fast as you want it to come, but it is coming to a city near you. I promise you that. So thank you
I
so
think
much.
America is excited to hear that and ready.
Yes, absolutely.
They need you. Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Hey guys, so I'm gonna go ahead and close this out. But before we get out of here, Rebecca, I definitely want to thank you for jumping on and giving us your time. Truly appreciate it. We want to know, how can folks find Nisha Media Leadership Solutions?
Absolutely. Just visit us at nishamedia.com online. And feel free, you can sign online to sign up to get our newsletter, or you can call us. The website phone number is right there on the website, excuse me. And we'd love to talk to you if you have any questions about your nonprofit, starting a nonprofit, or how we can support you and build a partnership with you to create a fantastic future.
And for all the listeners, the link will be right down there in the comments when you click on the video, or if you're listening to the podcast. Donnell, how do folks get a hold of Veterans Growing America, and how can they support?
So there's several ways that you can support. The first thing that I need you guys to do is to go to all of our social media pages, wherever you see Veterans Growing America, and like and join our community. And so you can find us on Facebook, you can find us on LinkedIn, you can find us on Instagram, you can find us on X, you can find us we actually not on TikTok, but you could also go to our website, veteransgrowingamerica.com. We have a membership platform where you can become a member of our organization. We highly recommend that. You don't have to be a veteran to be a member. You could also be a supporter. And then also, if you're in Woodbridge or the DC, Maryland, or Virginia area, in fact, if you're in town or plan on flying in town, y'all need to come by the Veterans Growing America Marketplace, support veteran and military spouses, and come see all of the amazing stuff that we do, our comedy show, our open mic night, our pop-up shop, our Wealth and Wednesdays, and then also listen to this podcast, like and subscribe, people, like and subscribe.
I love it. And don't forget, all you got to do is
shop, baby.
Over